Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Still That Girl series. I am your host, Jory J. So last week we heard from a young lady named Shevon who shared her personal story with us. She had such an amazing story. And if you think part 1 was good, wait till you hear part 2. It's going to be even better, trust me.
Right, so I moved in with him, and I did find out a scholarship that I applied for to go to UE to study chemical engineering did come through. Just at around that same time, I let him know, look, I'm going to study whatnot. The next fall coming. I'm gonna study the next fall coming, and I'll be going to Trinidad. His mom, my boyfriend's mom, actually lived in Trinidad, so I told him I can go, probably stay by your mom. You can come visit. But I started seeing a different side of him, so I realized all of a sudden he started getting very controlling and abusive. So he would try going through my phone, misinterpreting chats, or whoever I talk to, trying to really going into my personal stuff. I want to open my Facebook, see who I talk to, what I say. So I find it was a bit much, and we did have a fight. He had a fight. The fight that we had, I told him about all this stuff, and it couldn't be happening, and he misinterpreted something, and he started hitting on me. So that night I packed all my clothes, and I called my uncle. I asked him to come for me the night. My uncle never came. I stood out in that veranda for the entire day, and into the night my uncle never came. Then he would come with his and try to apologize and say, and try to blame me for it, try to start making me feel like I'm responsible for what happened. If I do this and if I just do this, everything is gonna be okay. And we did make up, and I didn't realize I was in a narcissistic relationship. I didn't realize that, that is gonna happen again. He promised he wouldn't do it again. Fast forward, not to exactly that same night actually. So no fast forward. That same night, I guess because he would view my period tracker. I would we started having sex, and because I started living with him, and I would try to ensure that we use protection. I was so scared to get pregnant. I know I had dreams. But he did what he did that night, and I didn't know that he broke a hole in the condoms, and he intentionally got me pregnant. So while I'm thinking okay, everything was safe, and I didn't know, he waited till coming toward January. Now my period did came. It did come a bit light for 3 days, and I still didn't suspect that had happened. Then he would tell me, he kept telling me, go take a pregnancy test, you're pregnant. That's a whole month after the whole incident. Go take a pregnancy, you're pregnant. Because I told him, I said, I'm going to leave you if you continue. He started being abusive. I said, I'm going to leave, I cannot handle this thing. I'm going to go find somewhere and try and leave. I said, I'm working, I'm making my own money, I'm going to go somewhere else and leave. He told me, you're pregnant. I said, no, I'm not pregnant. So he told me for a whole month. I would be what nonsense you're trying to come tell me. He said, I'm telling you, I can tell you when you got pregnant. Not knowing that, yes, I was actually pregnant. I started getting fevers, and stuff. I had a high fever that wasn't going away, and I decided, okay, let me actually go take a pregnancy test. I took the pregnancy test. I came home, went to his bathroom. He was already home. I took it and I just started screaming and crying. Like I screaming and crying, like, and that was the time I'm like, God, why me? That was the only time, you know, I'm like, God, why me? Why me? Why now? Because I had my plans and I felt all my plans and my dreams just crushing and just going beneath my feet, everything that I've worked for to get myself out. So I was 21 years old. Yeah, 21 years old, and I found out I'm pregnant.
So, did you ever felt like you wanted to abort your child? Or was that even an option or thought in your head?
That wasn't even an option or thought in my head because of my faith. I felt like, you know, I only heard of abortion. Like, I've never discussed abortion with anyone. Like, I don't know much about it, for one. I lacked street sense, as they say. I lacked street sense, and I didn't know much about a lot of things because I started being sexually active very late in life, and I didn't know much, for one. So that wasn't an option for me. And based on my faith, I don't believe, like, you know, someone, you know, because I heard people talking about, oh, she had my child, she gonna go to hell. So hell wasn't on my plan. So I said, you know what, yes, I had to accept my situation, and this is what I'm going to do about it. So my boyfriend at the time, he didn't go to college. He didn't get to go to college because his parents never believed in him. They never believed that he could amount to much. They believed he would go waste their money. He didn't get English. He got all his other subjects except English. So I told him, okay, well, at that point, like, I need to go study. Like, I said, yes, I'll have to postpone it, but I did get the scholarship. Probably I can defer it. So I decided that at that time, I'm going to send you to college, come in the next semester. He started studying for the English. So, and he planned to do it the following January. I was up pregnant, I was helping him. And he was still being abusive to me, and like, my self-esteem got so low at that point. Like I felt stuck, and I felt like I still had to be there because, you know, of the child. He would apologize, he would try to hit me in public, you know, even with the child in my stomach and stuff. And, you know, I just felt I just didn't have anyone to turn to. I couldn't turn to my mom, I couldn't turn to anyone. So I just felt trapped, for one. But, you know, all through, I'm still trying to build him up to take up, you know, responsibility for the child so that I can go study. I still had hope. So I fast forward, I paid his college tuition. It was like $3,000 at the time. He wanted to do some technical stuff in college, some type of mechanical engineering in college. So I used my money from my education savings plan that I had to go study with, paid his college, and, you know, he started off. I would have to stay up, same me, I'd have to stay up and help him with all his schoolwork, math, and I have a baby to take care of. So it's me and the baby. She was born in September, so just as he started school, she was born. So I had to stay up, just come from the hospital, stay up, help him with math, with English, whatever work, and try to, you know, help him to stay up to get good grades.
So was he helpful with the baby at all?
No,
So
he wasn't helpful. So I was coming home. At that time we moved. We had actually moved from where we were up country, and we moved down to town in one of his mom's house. And she, you know, she let me stay there, but I had to pay all the bills. And I would come home every day. I have to clean the house, I have to cook, I have to, you know, wash clothes with my hand. You know, I did everything. And so I was on maternity leave and everything for some time, and I decided, you know what, they were relocating me to another school, to a public school, because I got pregnant in Adventist school. And you know how they shun on that.
Yeah.
Not married, you're pregnant. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna look for another job. I got another job at the National Insurance Scheme, and I started working there. So I was able, to do more and like support my child more. I had to put her through daycare and stop being at home mom. I came home every single day. I'll cook. Every single evening I'll come home tired, take care of the child, take care of her needs, clean, cook, wash, always kept the house,
And then still help
and
him.
still help him stay up and help him at night. And yeah, that went on for a couple years, and he still used to come home and try to be abusive, check my phone, try to see, and then he would have problems with my friends calling me, so he would be like, why this person call you? And then he realized my friends stopped calling me. All my friends, they drew away from me because they realized how controlling he was and stuff. So everyone drew away from me. So I didn't have family.
He wanted to isolate you, basically.
Yes, so he isolated me. I didn't have family, I didn't have friends. So after a while, I would go a whole month and I wouldn't get a phone call from anyone.
Wow.
I wouldn't get a phone call, and he would be like, you're deleting your calls before you come home. And he got into a fight with me one night, hold a cutlass into my neck. My child was only 6 months old.
Wow.
He held a cutlass to my neck, and she got up. She was 6 months old, but like she could sense what was going on. She got up, she screamed, she was screaming her guts out. I had to try and get away, go down the hill, my clothes torn, my feet bare, run down the hill, really very far on top of the hill. I had to run all the way down a hill, like 15 minutes down, because we live really far in an isolated place as well. And try to get a police report and everything, and try to, every time I left, like I would leave him, and every time I left, he would come back in my mom's house and get me and say, he wants his family, and all this kind of stuff. Oh, you don't want the child to grow up without a dad, and all this kind of, and I was so stupid. I would keep going back.
Did you ever think that he would change?
I did think he would change. Like he was just going through a process. I would pray for him and think like, okay, he's gonna change. But it took me a while to see that things, was not getting better. We just grew further and further apart. The more, I tried to forgive him. We were just growing. So it was a very abusive relationship, and I was just plain unhappy.
So, you mentioned that you felt trapped. What did you feel like you couldn't talk to anybody, or did you feel like nobody would believe you if you had spoken? Because what about his parents? Did you try reaching out to any of his family and tell them what he was doing?
So yes, I did. His mom would try to talk to him, and I think most of the reason he is that way that he is because like of her and the way she grew him. Because she would speak to him now, and tell him one thing in my presence, and then afterwards, she would say anything else, and she would be like, taking it as a joke. That boy had rabies or what? Since he's small, they like that. Don't condone your children, and say like, since they're small, they like that, and stuff. And then thing and sleep it out, or they go wake up and talk in the morning. I'll put in my bit, She was like, I'm not gonna take part, and I'm not gonna put my mouth in all their business.
Wow.
So
did you have proof over your body? Like, did you have bruises, stuff like that?
Yeah, I did have bruises. I did have swellings and stuff. There was one day I couldn't. I went to work, and I had to go to the police before I go to work, and show them the bruises because he hit me in the morning, and then I had to go to work and show up to work like that. I was really embarrassed, and HR called me in, and they spoke to me. HR called me in and they spoke to me, and they let me know like, oh, this can't be going on. You have an image to maintain. You're working, for a national agency. So, she was like, you need to value yourself better than that. You deserve better than that. And yeah.
So when you would go and report to the police, what did they do? Did they ever take action? What happened?
They just warned him at times, and then he would appear so calm and so and like a decent young man to them. So you would put up this charade and they tell me, don't tell me like they always see. They say, I always see this guy in the road. He's never anything. He's never. You can't tell me, that he did that, and
even with the physical evidence.
With the physical evidence.
Wow.
and then he had friends in there, and one of his a lot of them would always pass it on to his brother-in-law. One of his brother-in-law he was one of the police in there, and he would always take it up and tell them, oh, let me go speak to him, and he would go speak to him for himself. He'll calm down for a bit, whatnot. But everyone, like, people, when I tell people, they would not believe. They would, up to this day, would not believe that he's a decent young man. Like he is that person because he bears himself in public as this God-fearing person, this decent young man. He would not live. So it's just a facade that the public believes about him. So
and that's the definition of a narcissist,
Yeah.
But so obviously you're not with him now. So how did you get to that point where you finally decided that enough is enough? How did you get away from him, I should ask?
Okay, so it came to that point that in his second year, he started about November of his second year, he started dating this girl who was my friend's sister.
While he was living with you?
We were living together. I had no clue, no idea. His mom had an idea. She didn't even say anything to me. Like, people knew, but people didn't speak to me. I didn't have a smartphone at the time. I traded my smartphone with him, and I just went for a regular phone because I was the one taking care of him basically. And he would, decide, he would tell me, oh, he needs to use the internet. It came to a point that he told me his laptop was down and he needed to use mine. So he took over mine and he was using mine at the moment. So he started using mine just so that, and every time he would hog the computer so that I don't get to use it. I'll fall asleep before I even get to use it. So for months, I had no social media presence to know what's going on. Then January 1st of 2014, he made the relationship official to Facebook. So,
wow.
When they see this person is in a relationship with that one, I had no clue. Still living there, still taking care of him. We went out for Christmas and everything, New Year's. We normally get a bonus for Christmas. So, I kept like $700 out of it just with me at home, just for emergency stuff. So I kept it. I guess he found out I had it in the baby's bag, and I just had it there. But fast forward toward the end of the month, I picked up my child from the daycare and I went to buy her new shoes because every 3 months she would need new clothes and new shoes. I went to buy her new shoes. I came up late. I came home and I walked in, and then the laptop was on, my laptop, and I saw these messages open, like he went to the restroom. The messages were open. I walked in at the perfect moment. Messages were opened, and he had the message read, where are you? I put you on a bus. How long ago? How come you haven't reached up as yet? This is giving me so many second thoughts. I'm regretting that $700 I gave you, and the phone. So I bought him a phone. He lied and told me the phone broke, and he gave the phone to her. Yeah, it was one of those Blackberries. He gave the phone to her, and that $700 was actually my money. He stole the money from me and he gave it to her. So he started taking care of her with my stuff. Well, something immediately flew up in my head. I ran. I put down the child and I go straight to the bathroom where he was, and I confronted him about it. He came and he took my laptop and he slammed it down, and he broke the laptop so I won't get to see anything else, because I came, look at the evidence, here's the evidence. He just broke the laptop and forget about me. And then he started crying and started accusing me now of where I come out, and started accusing me that his brother-in-law just dropped me up. So me and his brother-in-law had some stuff going on. I mean, that was the night he wanted to raise his hand. I called back the brother-in-law and said, you just dropped me. I said, come and pick me up and my child and all my things. I need to go. I don't know where I'm going, but I need to go. This is what's happening here. I need to go. And this was the time I was done. I'm like, I felt so betrayed and everything, and like you're gonna do this and you're gonna still take my money, your $1,500 BlackBerry phone that I buy for you, and you're gonna give her. You understand? I felt like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to a person, someone who has been there supporting you? Why would you do that to me? And you're taking from, not only are you taking from me, but you're taking from your child. I'm the one supporting the child. I'm sending you to school, but you started taking from your child. So I was done. I say, you're not gonna hit me, and I stood my ground. I say, you're not gonna hit me because I'm killing you tonight. Like that was the way I was. Like, I had the strength I had that night. Yeah, I just said, stay away from me. I paced outside until this brother-in-law came and got my things, and I went by his great grandmother. She stayed not too far down the road, but he didn't know like we had a good relationship, so I just went and I stayed by her for the night to try and sort things out.
Okay, so was this the end of that relationship? Like, what happened after you got to the great grandmother's house? Eventually, what happened?
I still felt, I went to the grandma's house after sleeping on it, like I couldn't even sleep that night. And I still think that I still, my child deserved the home, but she had both her parents. I still tried to reach out to him about what he was doing, and like he started basically started denying the child, saying, so I reached out to the girl actually as well, and I let her know. I said, you see this pattern of language that he's using for you? I said, he's gonna come back and he's gonna be abusive. She told me, oh, he's not that way, he's a sweet person. I said, and what did he say? She said, what are you coming and talk to me for? He said you're living there so that he can help you. He can help you because you need you're working in town, so he can assist you, and the child is not his. So he started denying my child, denying the fact that she's his, and letting the girl know aside, like, I'm nothing, I'm nobody. And then that was the point, that I decided, yeah, that's it for us. And I realized that this relationship is really over.
Yeah. So did he try to come back in at all, or was that it for him as well?
That was it for him. He had found his new person, and he was doing so much and taking care so much of her. And yeah, and he did get an internship that year, around that same time. And I was like, yes, he got the internship, he's gonna start putting in for the child. And then he did not even support the child, didn't decide like he's gonna send something. He didn't ask about her for months. He was trying to trying to attack me with language. He even met me once because I got a house to rent that was close by. He even met me once in a bus stop that's close by. He was walking and he saw me and the child, and he was very violent towards me. I had to go make another police report. He scraped me on my neck and stuff, and like how the altercation happened, I had scratches on my skin going to work, and we're done. So yeah, his way to deal with it was being violent and trying to paint me now as the bad person, and trying to see that I had been while I was with him.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was the way he tried to turn it around on me. But I said, let me do what I have to do, pull up myself and take care of my child. Everything is gonna work out. I still try and keep my hope alive. I said, right now I have her, and she only has me, so she has to look up to me, and I have to be a good example to her. So for a year plus, I wasn't dating anyone. I was focusing on me, focusing on her happiness, and focusing on my happiness.
And did you have support from other family members?
I didn't have support from any other family members. I was like really isolated. I did have support from friends. I did make friends with one of his sister-in-laws, and we would go outside. We would go out. We would go for walks on the beach on a Friday night. We go close by this hotel. We just walk and enjoy scenery. But she was helping me through it by being with me and just having her around and her daughter around. That really helped me through it.
That's good. So today, do you think you have forgiven him?
That's a hard question. I don't know. maybe
You think
I
there's
don't know.
still some more growing?
There is still like,
and that's completely understandable.
yeah, there's still like, it's really hard to say I forgive and I forget about that, because knowing that I invested so much in someone, and try to let things work out so that I can have back my dream back. Yeah, that's something like, yes, I don't, but I'm working on it. It's gonna take time. It's been how many years? Almost 7 years. Yeah, 7 years. Yeah, but I'm still working on it.
You said, I like something that you said, get back your dream, which is, it falls in line with what Still That Girl represents, and coming fast forward to today, you can still say that you're still that girl. So obviously your dream is still there. So talk about your transition from leaving, moving in on your own, taking care of it, because you now became a single parent.
Yes.
So how did you get to this point where you are today, where you can still say, hey, I'm still that girl? Like, what happened from then to now? Talk about that little period.
All right.
I know. I keep ending these episodes in suspense. But trust me when I say Shevon's story was so good that we couldn't just put it in one episode. We had to separate them in 3 parts. So stay tuned for next week for part 3. We just need a little patience. And trust me, as I say, I promise you, it will be worth the wait. So guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you feel led to, leave a comment down below. Sometimes the interviewees look back on your comments and they're so encouraged by the nice words that you guys say, and just the feeling of them knowing that their story has touched different people is already inspiring. Until next time, remember that you are always still that girl. See you next week.
Do you have an inspirational story to share? Would you like to be featured on our next episode? If so, please contact us using the information displayed on the screen. If you'd prefer to tell your personal story anonymously, please complete the form by clicking the link provided in our bio.